it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another in the series that I like to call Worth It. I am going to take one product and I'm going to break it way down for you. We're going to talk about the brand. We're going to talk about their return policies, their cruelty-free and vegan status. I'm going to show you swatches, a first impression, all of that so that you can make good decisions on whether or not you want to purchase this product. The product we're talking about today is not brand new. This came out in September of 2019 and it is the Urban Decay Naked Honey Palette. I just got this when it was on sale, so I really wanted to break it down for you because this is not necessarily a 100% unique palette. So I really want you to know whether or not it is something that you should invest in. Before we get into this, if you like videos where a product is really broken down like this, if you like videos where you learn if you're gonna be saving money or not, if you like videos with a weird random redhead from Baltimore, hit that subscribe button. I do put out new videos on YouTube every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and sometimes on Fridays too. To start off the video though, if you are new here, this is the cat candle. I only light this when I am filming and you all might notice the head is gone. Finally, I'm saving it because it fell off and I was very excited when it happened, but I only light this candle while I'm filming videos so that we can see this metal cat skeleton inside burn very slowly. The cat is on fire, we can officially start. Before we get into the palette, let's start by talking about the brand. So many of you have heard of Urban Decay at this point, but let's go back and look at how the brand started. They were founded in 1995, but they launched in 1996 with a series of 10 lipsticks and 12 nail polishes. Kind of ironically, the brand's image when they first came out, like their very first ad was, "Does pink make you puke?" They wanted to get away from neutrals, from the pinks that were dominating the 90s scene. Some of their first products that they came out with had names like Smog or Acid Rain or Rust or Asphyxia. They were super dark and edgy and really had that like grunge kind of punk rock feel to them. The reason I think that's kind of ironic is that today, the thing that Urban Decay is most known for is their Naked series. In 2010, they released their first Naked palette, which I actually have here. I did buy this in 2010, and yes, I know you're not supposed to hold on to makeup for 10 years. Don't judge me, you're not my real father. This was a series of 12 nude eyeshadows and it took the makeup world by storm. This was one of the very first really viral products that everyone needed to have. There are now 29 products in the Naked series, ranging from everything from eyeshadow palettes to foundation and concealer, and one Naked palette is sold every 7 seconds worldwide. They're a company that's very passionate about animal rights, and also in 2015 they launched the Ultraviolet Edge. This is a women's rights organization that donates to organizations around the world that empower women. I've been a fan of Urban Decay since the late 90s and they just have a very special place in my heart. Let's move on to the cruelty-free and vegan status of the brand. So they are certified by PETA as being a cruelty-free brand. They have established that they do not sell their products in China, nor do they source any of their ingredients from third-party vendors that test on animals. The one caveat to that is that in 2015, Urban Decay was purchased by L'Oreal, which is not a cruelty-free brand. So some people choose to see Urban Decay as not a cruelty-free brand because their parent company is not cruelty-free. That's a decision you have to make on your own. I personally am fine with them calling them cruelty-free because the brand itself, Urban Decay, is cruelty-free. As far as their vegan status, the entire line is not vegan, but many of their products are. The Urban Decay Naked Honey Palette does have 2 shades that are not vegan, so this specific product is not vegan overall. Dipping into the return policy, I'm going to talk about both if you purchase this from urbandecay.com and also Sephora.com. I am in love with the return policy at urbandecay.com. They send you a return label right with your package and you have 60 days to return it whether you love it or not. It's a love it or leave it type policy. This means that you can test it, you can use it, and send it back if you don't like it. You have a full 2 months to do this. If you are an Urban Decay Beauty Junkie member, you have 90 days to return it. I think that's just fantastic. If purchased off of Sephora.com, the return policy is a little bit different. Now, right now we are in the coronavirus pandemic, so they have loosened the return policy a bit. If you return your product to Sephora within 30 days, you will get a free refund. If you return it within 60 days, you will get a store credit. Normally, it's 30 days, that's it, end of story, but they have upped it a little bit. Let's start digging into this palette and let's start by talking about the packaging. First, you get this outer carton, which has a beautiful gold sheen to it. This is just cardboard, so it is very easily recyclable. And the palette itself literally looks like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory golden ticket status. Look at that. It is a hard plastic and it is very textured. You can see from the side that some pieces are raised. And what's so cool is that it is a magnetic closure. I really love that. On the back, it does say that 24 months is the shelf life of this product. I'm gonna leave that up to you though. I tend to keep eyeshadow palettes for a lot longer than 24 months. Let's look at the palette itself. So as all Urban Decay products do in the Naked series, there are 12 shades and it does come with a double-ended brush. These brushes are great. I have a tendency to definitely put these in my collection. I don't keep them in the palette because the dust from the eyeshadows will get all into the brush and make it kind of nasty. So I do take that out separately. But as you can see, you have a beautiful range of honey drenched tones. We have golds, we have ambers, we have browns. I just think that this is absolutely beautiful and I have waited so long to purchase this and I think it's just gorgeous. There is a nice mix of 7 mattes and 5 shimmers, and I think it's a really well-balanced color palette. Just absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's just stunning, right? And wait, that magnetic closure though. Before we get into swatches, I want to talk to you guys about price comparisons. So this palette does retail for $54, but I got this at half price. Actually, it was less than half price. It was only $24.50 when I bought it. Urban Decay very commonly has their palettes go on sale for as much as 50 or more % off. So if you really want a palette from Urban Decay and you're willing to wait for it, wait for it. This palette came out less than a year ago and already went on sale for 50% off at least 2 to 3 times since then. So have patience and you will reap the rewards. That being said, I am basing my price comparisons on the full cost of $54. I'm gonna put a chart right here on the screen to show you some price comparisons that breaks it down by price per gram. I compared this with a whole bunch of other neutral goldish palettes ranging from, drugstore pricing down to very high-end luxury products. So this falls right about the middle with a price per gram of $3.46. Now, if you take something like the Juvia's Place Warrior palette, you're only paying $1.12 per gram, or the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette is only $1.13 per gram. You could also jump down, all the way down to the luxury version and go to the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette where that is $10.71 per gram. So again, this falls right in the middle. This is considered a higher end product, and I do think that Urban Decay shadows are usually worth the price, but we're not gonna know that until we look at some swatches. I haven't even touched this palette yet, and okay, that's kind of a lie. Okay, I've swatched it before at Ulta when Ulta was open. I miss you, Ulta. But this specific palette, I haven't swatched it yet. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys because at the end of the day, this is a neutral palette, okay? This is nothing earth-shattering, groundbreaking, anything like that. This is likely easily dupeable if you have this kind of color scheme in your collection, which this is kind of a common color scheme to have, right? So I'm going to be completely honest with you about the quality, and if I don't like this, I might be returning it myself. So hang tight, let's get into some swatches. All right, let me preface this by saying that swatches on your arm are obviously going to perform very differently than swatches on your eyes, but I have to admit that I was shook by the quality of these swatches. I'll admit, when I got this in the mail finally, I opened it up and I looked at it and I was like, oh crap, like is this just, this is just another naked palette, it's another nude. Did I really need this? Looking at these swatches, yes, I did. The metallics are where this palette really shines. They are packed full of just wet looking metallic glitter, but it's not a glitter fallout. Let's see, GlitterFallout. They are just ultimately metallic, and this is with one swipe in the pan and one swipe on my arm. These two shades especially, I mean, it's just, they're just beautiful. Like, how do I even show this? How do I YouTube? The only shade that disappointed me a little bit is Sweet. Sweet is supposed to be a very light color, a neutral color, things like that, but it's kind of hard to see. The swatch was a little bit patchy, a little bit inconsistent. It definitely grabbed in certain spaces, and granted, that could be texture on my arm, or, you know, maybe I didn't moisturize my arm enough today. But that is the one color that I was a little bit disappointed with. Everything else is absolutely gorgeous. I can't even, I have no other words. I wanted to show you some possible dupes. First we have Amber. This is from the Honey palette. And next to it we have a shade from the Juvia's Place Warrior palette. And then the Natasha Denona Sunbeam from the Mini Sunset palette. They're all slightly different. This one is definitely more bronze, but the Natasha Denona one is most similar, but that one is definitely more orange toned. Then we have the shade Honey from the Urban Decay palette, followed by Dandy from the ColourPop Honey palette, and then Outside the Lines from the Tartist Pro Remix palette. The Tartist one is closest. Dandy is definitely more yellow, and Honey is definitely more just a gold tone. The shade on the end seems to be the most common / easily dupable. This is HBIC from the Naked Honey palette, followed by the Juvia's Place Warrior palette, then Natasha Denona Bronzage, and then Spin from the Tartist Pro Remix palette. So these are all very similar, save for the Juvia's Place, but the other three are very similar to that shade. Now that we've looked at swatches and dupes and we've talked about the packaging, their cruelty-free status, let's jump into actually using the damn thing. I'm just going to do a sort of basic look. I will put on the screen what colors I am using as I use them, and I'll let you know my first impressions afterwards using these on my eyeballs. I do have a sort of primer down, and that is just concealer patted over with my translucent powder, and let's just jump right into this. So here is the look that I came up with. I did wind up using 6 out of the 12 shades in this palette for this look, and I love it. I admit I'm a sucker for gold shadows like this because I feel like it makes my eyes look really, really, really blue. So I'm so happy with this look. I'm so happy with how it turned out. To be honest, for me personally, I can see this easily becoming an everyday palette for me. As far as how the shades performed, every one of them performed beautifully, but I will state 2 things. So Sting, which is the darkest color in the palette over here, there was a little bit of fallout. So it wasn't much. It was enough that I could just wipe away on top of my makeup that's already done. So it didn't bother me that much, but I want to let you know. And also, Amber was a little, what's the word for it? So I did wet the brush, but I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of difference when I used a brush. It was when I went in and took my finger and patted it on top, that's when you really saw the color difference between amber and golden. It really popped that way. So amber is one shade that I would suggest putting on with your finger. As for my first impressions, I am glad that I waited to pay half price on this palette because Who doesn't want to save money? But the quality of Urban Decay shadows to me is just so high and consistent for the most part. I really like the formulas, especially their metallics. They are beautiful. They always are very wet looking, and their mattes are very creamy and buttery and usually don't skip. I'm definitely gonna have to retest that sweet shade on my eyes at some point. I didn't use it today. That was the only shade that sort of was a bit patchy in my arm swatches, but overall, I freaking love it. Did you guys notice I even wore my little bee necklace today to celebrate? It's a celebration. It's a bee celebration. If you have this palette, let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you're planning on picking it up. I will have a link in the description box down below, and that will be an affiliate link, and all that means is that you're gonna buy it as you're gonna buy it, and I'm gonna get a little commission because you clicked on my link, and thank you so much for doing that. That kind of thing really helps me keep my channel going. So please, if you're considering buying this palette, I would love if you'd click the link down below to go buy it. That is it. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are all GlitterFallout. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already. I do put out new videos here on YouTube every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to have you as a part of my Rockstar fam. As always and forever, you are super freaking rock stars, and I love you with my whole beating heart that's in my chests. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.